I was talking to one expert and they looked at me straight in the eye and I'm exhausted. Can't do it anymore. There's just too much going on. I just don't have enough people and enough resources and enough time in the day to get it all done. Resource constraints are real. And this person was almost in tears. They had worked so hard to get where they were, and they just can't see working harder to get any farther. They felt constrained because they felt like they needed to bring in new people and bring in full-time people and not understand that the fractional market is something that's incredibly valuable. This individual was actually recording all their own videos, which I recommend. But then they were trying to edit them and make all the decisions and write all the copy and do all of the work and develop the strategy. They got lost so much in trying to do one thing after another and trying to do it all and save a dime or a couple of dollars. And they felt like they could not expand because they felt like the only way that they could protect their intellectual property is they had full-time employees. They did not want to do anything fractional. That resource constraint held them back more than almost anything else. Recognizing how to deal with a resource constraint is important, but recognizing that you can divide it out and make it a larger process is almost more important. Your marketing team isn't understaffed. They're just doing the wrong things. The average marketing team spends 60% of their time on activities that drive less than 20% of the results. This alignment costs mid-sized companies an average of $1.2 million of lost revenue annually. Your competition already streamlining their options. Every month you wait puts you further behind. Understand that resource constraints are a huge issue, and therefore creating some sort of fractional way of doing it or some way of interacting gives you a competitive edge. Now, I would never suggest that you outsource anything that was important for you to be as strategic to the company. One of the first things you need to do is identify what is absolutely strategic to the company. For us, there are a lot of internal tasks and internal processes that are absolutely strategic that are never outsourced. But some of the other things are outsourced because they're not strategic. And by the way, there's a larger population. I did a whole thing on hiring people and how you should hire for task, not title. And you can find that right up here. More importantly for our conversation today, it is how we are resource constrained and how you can divide up a task or an activity. Now, you have to understand that activity at the most granular level, not at a general, you need to do video. You need to have this video cut in this way on these things with these sort of tasks. And once you have that understanding, you can then start resourcing not necessarily every bit of it to someone, but small areas so that you can generate that effectiveness. The other conversation on resource constraints that comes up on a regular basis is people who say, oh, well, I'm so much faster at it. I'm so much better at it. I can do it much more effectively. You're probably right in the short run, but there's only 24 hours in a day. And I encourage people to get 8 hours of sleep and have a life besides work. Imagine, if you will, being able to do your work and then have someone at night while you're asleep continue to work. I've built 5 or 6 businesses around this follow the sun development, and it's powerful, but you have to be ready to understand how to do it in that granularity that we talked about. The other part is that what happens if you can find 2 people that are only 70% as good as you are, or 80% as good as you are? Imagine if you can get them to be 80% as good as you are for 8 hours a day times. It won't be as perfect as you like it, but you can train them up. All of a sudden, you've tripled your amount of deliverability, even if they're only at 80. Perfection is one of the worst things we can worry about. And by the way, it's deceptive. There are going to be better people for most things that you do, except those key things that differentiate your world. For example, I can have people help me do almost everything else but sit in front of this camera and talk to you. That's my job. That's what I do best and I enjoy. Everything else I've got teams to help me do. I believe that I'm resource constrained in that way. I will be doing a lot more. I could be doing the video editing. I could be doing the writing. I could be doing all of the other back-end work. That's not an effective use of my time. Creating resource constraints, you'd be astounded how many people are willing to get some work done on a part-time basis. One of my favorite things is to hire people who have children in school when they may not have 8 hours to work, but maybe they have 3 or 4. Most of the time, if you want to get something done, you hire a parent who has a busy schedule. It's astounding how fast and efficient they can get things done. Resource constraints is one of the massive problems in our businesses, specifically in marketing, because it doesn't quite interact well with the rest of us. What we need to do is really look at what we're doing and see if we can cut off small pieces that will make our work much more efficient. Make other people working for us not only a salary, but also training them up. Several people in my company have started as just artists and have blossomed into very valuable individuals. I needed just small bits of work done, and as they improved their skills and as we taught them, they became invaluable to the company. Imagine if your team grows as fast as your skill set does. Therefore, not only are you building up the ability to do more work, but you're building up the ability to give more value, therefore charge more, therefore bring on more people. It is one of those things that seems to be a constraint, but it is a real opportunity if you look at things in a longer term format to really be able to drive innovation, drive interest, as well as drive loyalty within the company. I have several people who've been with us for 10, 15 years, and we have a loyalty there that when things get tight, they work harder. They are part of the organization. Resource constraints can be an issue, but start with something as simple as a part-time person, a fractional person. In fact, we at Venture Gain have a number of people that we use as fractional CMOs and fractional support team to get people through a difficult time and to get people trained up and ready to go. The power of that is that you can create a very tight group of people that takes off the difficult stuff and allows other people to do it, not only giving them resources, but also giving you time and space. I'd like you to take a look at the stuff that you're doing right now in the company and see if there's a way that you can slice off part of that and really make it a much more efficient system. If you feel like you're resource constrained, well, you'd be astounded what some companies will be willing to do for very little money because it's efficiencies. We've built out an entire another company because we had some clean space in our development team and our art team, and we developed a whole other company that built websites for specific niche groups. We templated it, we set it up, and we gave them the understanding that it would probably take a little longer. When my art team is slow, they go grab something else. When the development team is slow, they go grab part of this project. And for us, it keeps us innovative and keeps us moving. For the customer, it gives them a much more effective way of getting good quality service, as well as they understand the issues. There are millions of people out there interested in working with you in a short, small group of things. Now, understanding how to do that, developing that sort of systems, developing the plans, the controls and everything, as well as the intellectual property, is another story. So be careful with that. But resource constraints is one of those major problems, and bringing fractional people in, either in the management side or the activity side, gives you the ability to really take the next step and frees you up to do effective work instead of the $30 work that you may be doing now. Take a look at your materials, take a look at your actions, and figure out what it is. Put in the comments below what's the thing that you think you can expand or you can utilize otherwise. I'd be happy to put suggestions in on what you can do, and I'm sure that other people will as well. Let's continue this conversation. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode on the Strategy Session, where we take your business from stuck to unstoppable. Here's another video I think you'd enjoy. If you found these insights valuable, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on our latest videos. Want to transform your business with expert strategies? Schedule your strategy session today by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, you're not just marketing, you're making history with Venture Gain. See you in the next video.